Good morning, Uganda. Welcome back from the Eid celebrations. And Muslim leaders in Jinja decried or raised concerns over what they described as underrepresentation in the newly appointed cabinet, calling on President Yoweri Kaguta Museveni to consider increasing the number of Muslim ministers to reflect on the country's growing Muslim population. These concerns were voiced during the Eid al-Adha prayers at Mvule St. Crescent Mosque Muslim grounds in Jinja City. But looking at more of the regional celebrations that are ongoing and are still taking place, Oboth Stororo Kins are celebrating his election as Speaker, and of course ministerial appointments excite Bunyoro, looking at Honorable Jonard Asimwe, Honorable Fred Biamukama, and Honorable Robina Nabanja. And of course Bugisu is angry as cabinet post eludes again at that. Good morning, Uganda. My name is Julie F. Nantaba, and welcome to the show on a Thursday. Welcome back from that throwback music, taking you down memory lane and reminding you of what life was like at the time that music was released or produced or recorded and released to you for your enjoyment. It's time for Good Morning Uganda. You are watching UBC TV. We come to you live from the Nile Avenue. Now, looking at what we have on the local scene, Uganda temporarily closed border with the Democratic Republic of Congo as an emergency measure to contain the spread of Ebola virus. The National Task Force announced this in Kampala. Uganda closed border with the Democratic Republic of Congo to halt the spread of Ebola virus. 7 cases have so far been reported. The Permanent Secretary at the Ministry of Health, Dr. Diana Atwine, said this yesterday. As of 27th May, no new Ebola cases had been registered. Through the number of contacts linked to previous cases, although the number of contacts linked to previous cases increased, so government announced a temporary closure of the border with the DRC with immediate effect. The resolution follows a meeting of the National Task Force chaired by Vice President Jessica Alupo. The Immigration Department has been directed to restrict all movement across the border except for persons under the rapid response cluster. Even those permitted to cross with the will be required to observe self-isolation for 3 weeks. Education institutions along the border will remain open, but government has advised learners commuting from the DRC to stay away. Ministry of Health has called upon security teams led by resident district commissioners to enforce compliance at community level. Media houses have also been asked to dedicate at least 30 minutes daily to public sensitization. By May 27, 2027, Uganda had recorded 7 Ebola cases, and the public is urged to observe standard operating procedures, report any suspected cases immediately, and adhere to the preventative guidelines issued by the Ministry of Health. Now, the appointments to the new cabinet project an image of a government seeking to consolidate stability while preparing for implementation of an ambitious development agenda. The cabinet has more women. Several female leaders now occupy strategic ministries and senior dockets, reflecting gender inclusion and political empowerment. For supporters of the government, the appointments signal growing recognition of women's contribution to leadership, policy implementation, and national development. The cabinet also reflects an effort to maintain regional balance. The central, northern, eastern, and western regions all secured representation in key ministries linked to governance, social services, and economic transformation. Northern Uganda has a notable visibility. Eastern Uganda retains strategic influence as the western region continues to play a major role in sectors that many consider critical to maintaining stability and continuity. The combination of experienced leaders and emerging faces could provide institutional memory and renewed energy in government. Several ministers retained in cabinet are reviewed by supporters as experienced administrators capable of overseeing major government programs and long-term projects. Attention is now shifting toward implementation of the NRM manifesto for 2026 to 2031. The manifesto outlines government priorities including industrialization, infrastructure development, wealth creation, job expansion, and economic transformation. Now, away from the fresh leadership, let's go on to Eid celebrations at Old Kampala. Muslims from Kampala and surrounding turned up for Eid al-Adha prayers led by the Mufti of Uganda, Sheikh Shaban Ramadan Mubaje. The sermon was delivered by the second deputy Mufti, Dr. Sheikh Muhammad Haruna Bukenya, who urged brethren to slaughter animals, share with the less privileged. The Mufti of Uganda, Sheikh Shaban Ramadan Mubaje, in his sermon, seemed dissatisfied with the new cabinet list released by the president, saying the allocation of positions was not fair to Muslims. Mubaje also warned individuals and Muslim leaders involved in organizing Hajj pilgrimages against turning the exercise into a business venture. The minister-designate for Kampala Metropolitan Affairs, Hajat Minsa Kabanda, represented the government and urged Muslims to remain united. Some of the Muslims who attended the prayers shared their messages for Eid Day. On Eid al-Adha, Muslims slaughter animals to fulfill the tradition of Nabi Ibrahim, who was willing to sacrifice his only son, but Allah provided him with a ram instead. The slaughtering of animals continues for 3 days. And looking at more Eid celebrations, Muslims gathered at the Chivuli Mosque in Kampala for Eid prayers, and with Muslim leaders calling for unity, sacrifice and support for the needy in society. During prayers, the preacher of the day encouraged Muslims to embrace the spirit of sharing through giving, zakat, and helping vulnerable members of society. Muslims across Uganda have celebrated Eid al-Adha, one of the most important festivals in Islam that commemorates Prophet Ibrahim's obedience and willingness to sacrifice his son Isaac in submission to Allah's command. The Supreme Mufti Sheikh Muhammad Galabuzi reminded believers that Eid al-Adha is a time to reflect on faith, compassion and obedience to Allah. Prince Kasim Nachibinge condemned the ongoing wars in the Middle East and called for peace and dialogue to end the suffering of innocent people. He urged Ugandans to remain cautious against Ebola by following health guidelines and congratulated the newly appointed cabinet ministers, asking them to avoid divisive politics. Muslims who attended the prayers called upon fellow believers to support each other. Well, now that brings us to the end of what we have on the local scene. Let's immediately fly to what the global scene has, and we're starting off with matters the U.S. military and Iran. The U.S. military carried out new strikes on Iran, targeting a military site in Bandar Abbas, a strategic port city. U.S. Central Command CENTCOM said its forces also shot down 4 Iranian one-way attack drones that posed a threat around the Strait of Hormuz. The site in Bandar Abbas was struck as it was about to launch a 5th drone, CENTCOM said. Iranian media to the east of this, Iranian media reported that explosions were heard to the east of the city. The strikes come amid a fragile ceasefire between the U.S. and Iran and protracted negotiations to end the 3-month war that has shocked traffic in the Strait of Hormuz and shot up global energy prices in the second time in 3 days. That the U.S. has attacked targets in Iran, saying that the strikes were conducted in self-defense. The renewed hostilities threatened the ceasefire. Now, CENTCOM described its actions as measured, purely defensive, and intended to maintain the ceasefire. Earlier this week, it confirmed the previous round of self-defense strikes on southern Iran on Monday, in which they targeted Iranian missile sites and boats attempting to lay mines in the strait, where thousands of commercial tanker ships are stranded as a result of the conflict. CENTCOM said those strikes were designed to protect our troops, quote-unquote, from threats posed by Iranian forces. Now, the mood is barely festive as a group of Muslim men huddle inside a small mosque to discuss The arrangements for Eid al-Adha prayers in Meerut district of India's Uttar Pradesh state. Ceiling fans hum above to beat the brutal North Indian heat as nearly 50 worshippers listen to the members of the Mosque Management Committee in Maliana village, about 50 miles from New Delhi, the national capital. The conversation is not about sacrificial animals or charity, but a more pressing issue before them: roads, barricades, police permissions, and where and how exactly they would offer the Eid prayers on Thursday. Please don't gather outside the mosque gates, instructs a member. If the mosque fills up, wait for the next prayer shift. Avoid arguments, avoid videos. Don't respond to provocations. Many in the audience silently nod. Some scroll through WhatsApp groups where local police advisories have already begun circulating, urging Muslims to refrain from public prayers. Others in the audience exchange worried glances. Maliana has a history. In May 1987, 72 Muslims were massacred here by a mob of Hindu locals and personnel belonging to the state government's provincial armed constabulary. And this is in India's Muslims who are denied public spaces for Eid prayers. All right, now let's have a look at what we have in the dailies this morning, starting off with the new vision. Starting off with, let's do the Daily Monitor first. The Daily Monitor, the headline there is how regions shared cabinet. That's what the Daily Monitor has, and looking at each region with the number of ministers it garnered from there. And new cabinet corruption, Ebola dominate Eid festival. And Uganda DRC border closed after Ebola cases increase. And looking at what the Lizard has to say, a catalyst for walking to work. And this is because fuel prices rise at worrying speed. That is what the Daily Monitor has for you this morning. But let's cross over to the rest of East Africa and going into the Citizen. The headline is AFDB sees 5.4% growth amid geopolitical risks. That's the Citizen for you. And unity, peace and responsibility dominate Eid al-Adha sermons. And what Tanzania US legislators tussle means for diplomacy. But also experts say here's how to bridge the gap in public education. Now on to the Daily Nation representing Kenya. Trump's secret Ebola deal with Kenya. Interesting. And safety queries raised by Kenya would accept Ebola patients that the US won't take in. Calls for peace, unity and sacrifice dominate Eid al-Adha celebrations. And Gen Z demo fallout, why Uhuru upset with brutal but also real-time resistance inside online tracker for public debt. All of those and more in the dailies. Grab yourself a copy of any of the dailies so that you are able to delve deep. In the meantime, let's have a short break. When we get back, it's a conversation for the real. Just save the number 0709602592 and we'll be able to engage together on what we'll be talking about in just a bit. Good morning.
Live from UBC Studios in Kampala, this is
Good morning, Uganda. Welcome back from the Eid celebrations. And Muslim leaders in Jinja decried or raised concerns over what they described as underrepresentation in the newly appointed cabinet, calling on President Yoweri Kaguta Museveni to consider increasing the number of Muslim ministers to reflect on the country's growing Muslim population. These concerns were voiced during the Eid al-Adha prayers at Mvule St. Crescent Mosque Muslim grounds in Jinja City. But looking at more of the regional celebrations that are ongoing and are still taking place, Oboth Stororo Kins are celebrating his election as Speaker, and of course ministerial appointments excite Bunyoro, looking at Honorable Jonard Asimwe, Honorable Fred Biamukama, and Honorable Robina Nabanja. And of course Bugisu is angry as cabinet post eludes again at that. Good morning, Uganda. My name is Julie F. Nantaba, and welcome to the show on a Thursday. Welcome back from that throwback music, taking you down memory lane and reminding you of what life was like at the time that music was released or produced or recorded and released to you for your enjoyment. It's time for Good Morning Uganda. You are watching UBC TV. We come to you live from the Nile Avenue. Now, looking at what we have on the local scene, Uganda temporarily closed border with the Democratic Republic of Congo as an emergency measure to contain the spread of Ebola virus. The National Task Force announced this in Kampala. Uganda closed border with the Democratic Republic of Congo to halt the spread of Ebola virus. 7 cases have so far been reported. The permanent secretary at the Ministry of Health, Dr. Diana Atwine, said this yesterday. As of 27th May, no new Ebola cases had been registered. Through the number of contacts linked to previous cases, although the number of contacts linked to previous cases increased, so government announced a temporary closure of the border with the DRC with immediate effect. The resolution follows a meeting of the National Task Force chaired by Vice President Jessica Alupo. The Immigration Department has been directed to restrict all movement across the border except for persons under the rapid response cluster. Even those permitted to cross with the will be required to observe self-isolation for 3 weeks. Education institutions along the border will remain open, but government has advised learners commuting from the DRC to stay away. Ministry of Health has called upon security teams led by resident district commissioners to enforce compliance at community level. Media houses have also been asked to dedicate at least 30 minutes daily to public sensitization. By May 27, 2027, Uganda had recorded 7 Ebola cases, and the public is urged to observe standard operating procedures, report any suspected cases immediately, and adhere to the preventative guidelines issued by the Ministry of Health. Now, the appointments to the new cabinet project an image of a government seeking to consolidate stability while preparing for implementation of an...
Out of the blue, the child will get pains, especially in the wrists. And this happens commonly when children are starting to walk.
Was brought to you by...
I'll call you every day, yeah, yo, baby, don't know.
You can now get all the Chibuzi out with MTN voice bundles. Call all networks. Kubei Dondoro. Buy a 25-minute voice bundle for only 1,000, or buy any daily voice bundle of your choice. Dial *100 *21# and select daily, or use the My MTN app. When we talk together, we are unstoppable.
Exercise can't be sustained. Eating can't be stopped. It's even harder to lose weight. Come and give it a try. Genshikang L-carnitine chromium capsules, plant extract, scientific ratio. Take 3 capsules each time. The active ingredient accelerates fat burning, eat twice a day. Don't take a detour. Weight loss starts now. Genshikang L-carnitine with chromium capsules helps you stay in shape. Please follow medical advice when taking this product.
My question is, what is the difference between rental tax and income tax? How comes I'm paying both taxes on my own premises? If you want to have a tin, but you are not making any income from your business, you should take on the obligation to continue filing your nil return.
Commissioner General, to invest in taxation. When people understand taxes and they know the importance of taxes and they know the fair assessment of these taxes they're supposed to pay, I think everybody will embrace taxation.
As banning groupage cargo clearance protects small traders who cannot afford to import full container loads individually and rely on consolidation to remain competitive. Cargo to come in groupage is consolidation, it's legitimate, and we can't ban it. What we have banned, or what we have stopped, is the use of container leaders. Now, Fiona, the good news I have for you is that among the new tax proposals,
now you can get direct answers. Send your tax-related questions via WhatsApp or SMS to 0790-141-887 and the Commissioner General of URA, John Musinguzi, will personally address them. Tune in to UBC News Tonight every Monday and Wednesday for expert insights and clear explanations. Booza Commissioner.
It's finally here, and you're all invited. This Thursday, the 7th of May, 2026, is the
Live from UBC Studios in Kampala. This is Good Morning Uganda.
Good morning, Uganda. Thank you so much for watching UBC TV this quite chilly morning. By the time I left, it wasn't raining, but for Robert, it was gushing where he was. So it's expected to rain here in Kampala, probably so. Just be ready to keep warm and be as safe as possible. It's Good Morning Uganda, and you're watching UBC TV this morning. We come to you live from the Nile Avenue. My name is Julie F. Nantaba with Robert Chirabo Nyonyi-Ntono, and this morning we are looking, of course, at what everyone is talking about, the talk of town, the buzz of town, and that is the newly appointed cabinet to serve 2026 to 2031. What are your expectations of the new cabinet? 0709 602 592. Now, the Daily Monitor has a headline on there looking at how regions shared cabinet, and looking at the West Nile. The West Nile is represented by about six ministers. Toro has 5 ministers. Teso 5 ministers. Sebei 1 minister. Renzori 3 ministers. Lango 4 ministers. Kigezi 7 ministers. Karamoja 3 ministers. Bukedi 4 ministers. Bunyoro 5 ministers. Busoga 5 ministers. Bugisu 2 ministers. Buganda 21 ministers. Ankole 6 ministers. And Choli 6 ministers on there, representing the different regions as to how they shared cabinet. But a few facts that you should need to know: the Vice President Jessica Alupo and the Prime Minister Robina Nabanja were retained. They did retain their positions, ensuring stability at the helm of government. And while historical figures or veteran figures remained in the administration also introduced several younger politicians into high-profile portfolios tied to innovation, technology, and economic transformation. And of course, in there, about 80 executive members, 30 cabinet ministers, and 50 ministers of state, with women taking up 40% of the ministerial spots. And when you look at matters religious representation, the low representation of Muslims is in full contest, as 2 out of 30 cabinet ministers have been noticed, and it has sparked debate regarding the representation of Muslims in this new cabinet. So let's join it as you tell us what your expectations are for the new cabinet. 0709 602 592. Now let me engage Robert. Robert, first and foremost, good morning.
A lovely morning
good
to you,
see
Julie.
you.
Happy to see you too.
Are you feeling better?
Much better, I must say.
Glory to God. I'm glad.
Yes.
I'm glad. Now, looking at the new appointments, yesterday I was super excited to have this topic with you. But alas, I was alone. But the good thing is you're here. I couldn't wait to ask you on what your shockers were, what your surprises were, in line with dropped and appointed at the same time, and even switched or reshuffled. So briefly, just tell me what your shockers were, what your surprises indeed were, and what took you by surprise, but what did you expect and it came to pass?
Well, first, I want to thank God that we went through the elections. We have a fully fledged parliament. We now have cabinet. Some of these things are not automatic.
Right.
There are countries in this world, some not very far from us, where a transition that Uganda has gone through is hard to sail. Either they have failed to stabilize after. You know, this is a journey, it's a process. You have campaigns, elections, and all this process. It's not automatic that you have a safe landing like we have done. So first I want to thank the Lord, because now we can conclusively say that our transition from one government to another has been completed successfully. We held the elections, there was pressure, we went through, we glorify God. Now, having a cabinet, these were my surprises. One, Honorable Justin Namere.
Yes, I know.
After she goes down the history as the only person to have entered a drone, come out and beaten, because the rest have stories, we hear them, no bruises, nothing, then makes it to cabinet. I want to congratulate her. And I have so much hope in her. She's an iron lady, she seems determined, and above all, she's not shaken. So I have so much hopes when we see local government, because there have been a lot of corruption in local government.
Right, and looking at who she is serving with,
Honorable Baram, I don't want to say much about Honorable Baram, because I've never interacted with him, at least with Justin Namere I have. She has ever had some gigs here with us at UBC, so she's someone I know and I've followed. Honorable Baram, apart from knowing him as a minister, seeing him presiding over, but I also want to say he has done so much. Where he's been mediating. You don't know how many men he has set off the hook. The last I saw a woman, I think, who had twins, and they didn't belong to the man. So he's served diligently in his ministry where he has been. And I'm sure going to local government is a bigger thing but we hope for the best.
I think I have hope in both. I think that appointment as a team, whose appointment I'm looking forward to, in hope that they will do something as a force.
Yes, I see them as very aggressive people and very determined people, the two. So we hope they will do that. Now, another one is Janad, Engineer Janad Asimwe.
Right.
Now, if there is anyone in my belief who has gone to the right docket, is Engineer Janad Asimwe. This man, one, he's young, very determined, but also he goes in a field he understands very, very well. Very, very well. That is ICT, that is innovation, science and technology. He's a friend of mine. First and foremost, of course, I remember during the elections I had some issues, but that is not for media. But I visited one of his offices. Julie, this man has almost traveled to space in technology. He has an office around Nakawa. I reached there, I saw things I've never seen. Advance, almost going to space, satellites. So he comes in something I'm very sure he understands. And actually, I remember him saying, if I can be given an opportunity to serve my country in this field, Robert, I can, you know, he speaks slowly. He's a man of few words. Robert, I can assure you these things. So Engineer Janad Asimwe is someone I know that is going to, I'm sure, with finances, we may go to the moon as Uganda. Then, Dr. Lawrence Muganga, Vice Chancellor of Victoria University. Now, if you look at the way Dr. Lawrence Muganga, one coming in set for internal affairs, first I want to believe he understands in depth of this ministry. Not that he has a security background, but he knows that if there are games to be played. Remember one time he had ever been arrested over espionage, legal entry and all those things. So whatever the investigations revealed, that means he dug under this ministry and he understands it. But away from that, he is very social. And if you see how he has transformed Victoria University from the other issue of a very expensive university, then he came with the policies. Now, I don't know the fate of this university. Remember Rajiv Paston, who was a mega pillar there. Now, the Vice Chancellor, I don't think he can be a minister and at the same time the Vice Chancellor. I don't know.
Well, I watched him yesterday being interviewed, and he said he is still an employee of Victoria University and actively serving. And in case, just in case need be, this was a just in case for him, need be, he has mentored many people that can easily take after him.
Well, sometimes some shoes are so big to fit in, but I want to say he's a man that I'm very optimistic. I believe in him. I've seen him when he sets foot. Because, and the other thing where I'm so, we've always had this Bavandimwe issue. If you've noticed, getting passports, denied passports, what? So he belongs to that group as well. So he understands very well their challenges. He understands issues of migration. He's well-traveled. And so I'm very optimistic also is another figure I have so much hopes in. Then Dr. Chris Baryomunsi, going to health. He's been our minister. He's also another very experienced man who worked, I think, even in the UN, big bodies in the field, big countries when it comes to health. And now he's placed in that docket. I believe so much will also go in, and being a minister of information has also traveled so much Uganda, this and this.
Well, what do you think of the swap, bringing Dr. Generous Acheng into ICT and taking Dr. Chris Baryomunsi into health? Both doctors, and ideally you'd think that health is a place, because it's a ball game, it's the field of play.
Well, Dr. Chris Baryomunsi has been our minister. And I want to say he's served. Though I believe so much in someone, like I've told you, when you look at some of these areas I've been pointing at, this person understands this person. So we wait and see. That is all I can say. But we've seen a doctor at the helm of the Ministry of Information and National Guidance, and I want to say yes, we've made strides, we can't say. So I'm very optimistic. Only time will tell.
Indeed. You are watching UBC TV, and this morning we are looking at the newly appointed cabinet to serve 2026-2031 with President Yoweri Kaguta Museveni. What are your expectations of this new cabinet? 0709-602-592. Now, Robert, I'd like to just get your 2 cents on the matter of gender. 40% women are representing in this cabinet. But before you even share your 2 cents, allow me to get into some of the comments from our viewer. And we'll start with hi, Julie. Okay. Allow me not read this. But thank you for your compliment. I do appreciate. And nothing I expect from these cabinet ministers, because the selection was not good. Like Muhoozi being dropped, yet he worked hard, but that was a shocking drop, I think. But anyways, the viewer here who has not left their name says that he believes or he thinks that dropping people like Muhoozi, and yet he worked hard, was uncouth, and says that for my expectations are that we shall have a lot of corruption. Speaking doom into before it. Anyways, good morning, UBC. The president would favor our loved NRM MP acrobat Kiza Moses and give him a ministry, at least to make 4 ministries in Rwenzori. Otherwise, we are expecting poor service delivery in Rwenzori without acrobat. Kitandiko Wilex, good morning. And then Alema Royo from Arua, good morning. Thank you for the show. I want to thank the president for these appointments. Good that West Nile has 6 ministers, but my dissatisfaction is that he didn't balance the districts of West Nile. He would have given 1 position to Greater Arua, because this time round we supported him and NRM fully. Thank you for the show. Good morning, Julie and Robert. First of all, I congratulate all the appointed ministers, and the fact that they were appointed by the Fountain of Honor shows that they were capable of being qualified. So our hope in them is hyped, and we pray they don't disappoint us. But I congratulate more Honorable Justin Namere. Ladies are always characterized as cowards and emotional, but I like the aggressiveness of this lady. Leadership is never for the soft-hearted ones, but it requires people with bold hearts like hers. Oyo Ajakuva Sobola. This is Cricket Derek Gagamel. And finally, yes, it's Kisa Francis from Muyenga in Kampala, who said that for him, his expectations of the new cabinet, pure corruption. Over to you, Robert. First of all, what do you think of the comments, but also what are your 2 cents in the line of gender, with 40% of women representing the new cabinet?
Well, thank you, Julie. First, I want to begin with gender. If you talk about gender, the appointing authority, His Excellency Yoweri Kaguta Museveni, I would say he's the father of women emancipation in Uganda, right, if not Africa. Because if you look at countries that have vice presidents that are women on the African continent, there are not very many, right, not even 5. Now, if you look at countries that have prime ministers that are women on the African continent, not even 5. If you look at first deputy prime ministers, now, so when it comes to that percentage of gender, we've come from far. We've come from far, and let's look at the positions that they're occupying. You know, you may have few numbers compared to the men, but these are occupying top positions. You have the prime minister, you have the vice president, you know, then also here you have the 3rd deputy prime minister. These are big positions in government. Now let's look at which positions. These are not state ministers, but you're looking at senior top hierarchy covered by women except the president. Now, go to state ministers. Still, there is also a very big percentage. I think it is only when we look at cabinet ministers that we see less, but when we go to state ministers, you'll see that the numbers are fairly, I think, 41, 42, right, when it comes to state ministers. So I want to believe that we've come from far, we've moved big steps, and there's still more room for improvement. So I don't want to be taken by the issue of gender so very much, right, because when you look at the entire government, you will see that women have taken lead roles and performed very much so better.
Right.
Yes.
Now it's Chisanja, no sleep. What message do you think these new appointments is sending?
Well, when the president was speaking after the election of the speaker, his message, his tone, you know, one thing I've mastered with President Museveni, I look at his facial expressions and the tone in which he speaks. He showed high level of seriousness, requiring ministers, his political appointees, to ensure that there is no corruption, to ensure that Chisanja, no sleep, people are working, they fight poverty. He said, these parish chiefs, if you can't monitor them, if you can't supervise them. So his message was very clear, and the facial expression was very clear. Because Russian journalism, we were told, if I'm doing an interview, if I'm interviewing someone, I must read the entire body, not only the words. I look at the facial expression, the tone which this person is using will mean so much. Now, that day I saw His Excellency determined to fight corruption. I saw His Excellency telling his people that yes, you're going to take on positions, but if you're not serious, if you're not fighting corruption, if you're not fighting poverty, aiding the fight against poverty, it sounded like you may have no place to work in this new government. So I want to believe, and when it comes to corruption, the police has delayed to come up with information regarding the ongoing investigations of the former speaker. But this sends a message. We've always said we need the big fish.
Right.
Of course, we can't say so much because we know little. Apart from following investigators, this has been received, this and this. We know so little so now. But of course, anyone coming in office and seeing what has happened or what is happening to the former speaker, despite the fact that we haven't yet gotten any conclusive or parading in court or anything like that, he's sending a signal that if I can touch so-and-so, then you who is coming to serve, if the Agnes Nandutuza in Luzira, yes, some could have been lucky and off the hook, but if at least Nandutu is in Luzira, then that means so much. You've talked about the reappointment.
Yes,
now,
because there's some who were in the Mabati scandal, and I read their names. I saw them as being appointed. Now,
fellow Ugandans, we must understand that the NRM government ushered in what we call rule of law. Now, with rule of law, someone must be proved guilty beyond reasonable doubt by a competent court. Now, this is the challenge with rule of law. That the system the NRA ushered in, that follows rule of law, it is not court in Bagirawo. Rule of law, one, it has a challenge. And His Excellency has already said this sometime, when we were talking about corrupt people not to be given bail and all that. It has technical challenges that sometimes someone can be let off the hook. But also, it has advantages that people are not taken on hearsays. There are investigations. The fact that you say Mabati was found in someone's home, there's a process. How did this Mabati get there? Did this person have an hand? What if some people were taking something and dropped it there? So, and then Agnes Nandutu, if I remember very well, I think he admitted to having. He admitted to having taken, and prosecution went on.
Right.
So we must understand the system that we went to. Sometimes it is very advantageous, sometimes it does a disadvantage. For example, let me use one case. If Okero or Yum appealed, that is the system.
Which he did.
Which he did. And now the appeal process will go on.
Right. Indeed, indeed, indeed. And if you to ask me what I think of the new cabinet, I think I see more technocrats than politicians. There are a bit of more politicians who, of course, talk a lot, because we all know politicians have a power of speech, too much speech. But we also, in the cabinet, see a lot of actors and less talkers. They're usually more technocratic. than political activists, and I think it's something that gives hope. So we do look forward to the new cabinet. Now let's close this conversation off. We do have GME Tourism Express in just a bit, and we're looking at the review of the Powate 2026. So allow me read some of the views that you've shared, and as we close the conversation. Innocent from Yumbe, how many ministers are appointed from West Nile, and who are they? Thank you for seeing Robert back in studio. 6 ministers from the West Nile it is. Hi, Madam Julie, thank you for the show. I'm Muhindo Jr. from Bundibujo. Thank you, Junior, for being on the show. Good morning, Julie and Robert. This is Gilbert from Kabale. My issue is on the ICT ministry. All right, good morning, Julie. Phillips from Karamoja. I know that corruption scandals will not end because the law is always applied selectively in our country. And in Karamoja, the president appointed the people in the region as state minister and state ministers. And so we are waiting.
And for the first time, both coming from the same region. It's the first time you have the cabinet and state minister both coming from Karamoja. Right, and Phillips indeed from Karamoja says we're waiting to see and feel the work in the region. I remember His Excellency said, what have the people done? We need ministers who are aggressive in their work. Moving Dr. Acheng to ICT is meant to give her grounding in public affairs and propaganda. This is taking loyalty at another level. Dr. Chris has a good dose of that difficult job. This is K. Basilio. And finally, Nzo Mugagasa Urembo Mbuza Lwachi Baminisita abali mu nsonga z'amabaati babakomezaawo ne babawa obwa minister. We'll bring this conversation to a close. Up next is GME Tourism Express, and we're having a conversation a lot on tourism in Uganda and reviewing the Powate 2026. So stay tuned and save the number 0709602592 so that you engage and be part of the conversation. Good morning.
Live from UBC Studios in Kampala, this is Good Morning Uganda.
My question is, what is the difference between rental tax and income tax? How comes I'm paying both taxes on my own premises? If you want to have a tin, but you are not making any income from your business, you should take on the obligation to continue filing your nil return.
Commissioner General, to invest in taxation. When people understand taxes and they know the importance of taxes and they know the fair assessment of these taxes they're supposed to pay, I think everybody will embrace taxation.
As banning groupage cargo clearance protects small traders who cannot afford to import full container loads individually and rely on consolidation to remain competitive. Cargo to come in groupage is consolidation, it's legitimate, and we can't ban it. What we have banned, or what we have stopped, is the use of container leaders. Now, Fiona, the good news I have for you is that among the new tax proposals,
now you can get direct answers. Send your tax-related questions via WhatsApp or SMS to 0790-141-887, and the Commissioner General of URA, John Musinguzi, will personally address them. Tune in to UBC News Tonight every Monday and Wednesday for expert insights and clear explanations. Booza, Commissioner.
Exercise can't be sustained. Eating can't be stopped. It's even harder to lose weight. Come and give it a try. Genshikang L-carnitine chromium capsules, plant extract, scientific ratio. Take 3 capsules each time. The active ingredient accelerates fat burning, eat twice a day. Don't take a detour. Weight loss starts now. Genshikang L-carnitine with chromium capsules helps you stay in shape. Please follow medical advice when taking this product.
Juko.
Yo.
Check the shopping, man. What's your secret?
Haven't you heard of the parish development model PDM?
Yes, I did, but I thought it was just a talk.
No, it is real. I and a few friends together formed a circle, accessed money from the PDM, invested in a portrait project, and now things are moving.
Juko. I thought I was one of your friends.
You are.
But you left me behind.
I didn't leave you in poverty. What you do, just visit your LC2 chairperson and your parish chief and start the process of economic transformation. Just like that. The parish development model is an initiative from the government of Uganda through the Ministry of Local Government designed to transform all lives of Ugandans for the better. PDM, my parish, my development, my life.
Brought to you by Uniquely Ours. Explore Uganda.
A very good morning to you. Thank you so much for watching UBC TV. It's time for GMU Tourism Express, and we are looking at Powate. I was at Speak Resort Munyonyo on Friday, and the venue was colorful. A lot of intentionality, a lot of content creation, a lot of human beings from all walks of life, a lot of excitement, a lot of bask in the place. It was a lot. It was splendid. It was colorful. And that's why there's no way we cannot talk about it here on UBC. Now, we are looking at the Pearl of Africa Tourism Expo 2026 and its review, and of course, a lot more in regards to tourism here in Uganda. And to have this conversation with us is Dr. Gesa Simplicius, who is the head of public relations at the Uganda Tourism Board. But be part of the conversation. As a Ugandan, you ought to feed and experience and chew into the whole experience of tourism before even anyone else outside of Uganda does. That's why these conversations are important, and you have to engage 0709 602 592. Doctor, good morning.
Good morning to you, Julie.
It's a pleasure having you.
Thank you for having me.
And welcome back from last week.
Oh yes, it is 10 years. 10 years look good on us.
Right. How successful was the Pearl of Africa Tourism Expo, the year 2026?
Well,
especially basing on the objectives that you had set.
Powate, commonly called Powate, is the Pearl of Africa Tourism Expo. This expo is a signature statement for us in Uganda. It's one of the many trade fairs across the globe that has now come up to cement its intentionality here in Uganda. We have been around for the last 10 years now, trying to push and intentionally sell Destination Uganda. This is a very important moment for us because it has created a platform where we engage a number of people in the tourism sector, but also in the realm that creates information, publicity. We want to be known as a destination that has a lot to offer, not just an add-on place to go, but rather a place that merits its own mention because we are uniquely endowed. Secondly, we are intentional to create business linkages for our private sector players. This is important for us because, one, people have to understand the benefits that come from tourism. And it is through those benefits they get that they consequently wholeheartedly support nature, they support conservation, and are proud of what they have for posterity. So the 10 years has been a lot of hard work from Uganda Tourism Board and its partners, and I want to, before I say anything, thank the team that burnt the midnight candle, the National Organizing Committee, which is composed of the private sector, MDAs from government, the internal stakeholders who are the Uganda Tourism Board staff, for doing everything under their power to deliver this signature event. I can indeed say it went on successfully, and we concluded with most of the objectives met, which were to publicize, give awareness to our country, create business linkages through bringing international trade buyers to interest themselves to develop itineraries about destination Uganda.
Right.
Yeah.
Very profound. While there, I couldn't help, and I'm glad that I have this opportunity to ask this, I couldn't help but think of how broad UTB is thinking of this growing. Are you in the future looking at including the rest of East Africa, including Africa? What does the vision look like moving forward? Is it just going to focus on Uganda? How is the rest of East Africa and Africa going to be included?
Actually, Poate by its composition is an international event. We had 40 countries represented at Poate 2026. Right. And these were a representation of East Africa. We had all regional boards coming to exhibit, show their statement, selling, and making collaboration with our tour operators here. We had people coming as far as other continents, the US, all the way. You had Brazilians. So it is a continental event by nature, and we have already stepped into that realm. Now, the onus is upon us to try and stamp and sell our country in more than one way. Show the people who we are, a very diverse country, extremely endowed. We are 360 because we don't only touch wildlife. We have culture, for example. Uganda has over 50 tribes, with each tribe playing a distinct role with its own culture, food, way of dance, way of life. There are those things to showcase. We have sports. We have adrenaline-driven activities, like if you go, for example, to Jinja, I would want to invite you to do water rafting. Or
definitely,
even,
I'm looking forward, and yes, I accept the invitation.
And bungee jumping.
I accept the invitation.
Yes.
Wholly.
So that kind of marine tourism, there are a lot of things.
Yes.
Yeah, we can look at. So yes, much as the expo is being held in Uganda, we've already stepped into the international realm, and we've gone beyond, in fact, Africa. What we are doing is to take advantage of our unique situation in Africa to collaborate with the rest of the regional boards, Kenya, Rwanda, Tanzania, to see how we can sell a complete circuit.
Right.
Yeah, because when people come here, they should, one, we are intentional to look at now the value of a tourist. Long gone are the days when people used to only look at numbers. You want to have 10,000 people, when you can have only 10 people that can leave money in this economy, that are a summation of the 10,000. So the quality of guests we have here are very, very critical for us as a country. We want them to stay longer, so visit a lot more places and leave a lot more value within the tourism cycle.
Yes, indeed.
Yeah.
Now, let's quickly, our time is fast spent, but we can't move on without looking at sports tourism, as AFCON is here and it's knocking its door. Sports tourism and international football. How significant are the upcoming international football matches for Uganda's tourism sector?
Sports tourism presents a very major platform for us as Ugandans to market and sell Destination Uganda. We are looking at it, in fact, with a lot of anticipation because of the value addition it can come. When teams come here, they do a number of things. They bring their fans to come and experience the country. When the fans come, they will stay in our hotels, eat our food, but also look at what extra things that are available for them to be able to sustainably stay, but also enjoy a country like Uganda. So what Uganda Tourism Board is doing is to collaborate with Federation of Uganda Football Association and CAF to, one, give us the branding rights. Branding rights will enable us go aggressively to market the country through a number of things. We want access to certain areas so that we stamp for Uganda. We tell whoever is coming here, but even those people who are probably just supporters, to tell them what extra value they can add. But also, AFCON is bringing us opportunity for investment and growth for our attendant facilities. We need, for example, 5-star hotels in places such as Hoima, Gulu, and when this infrastructure is developed, it will forever be ours to use, but also it will enable us to go MICE. MICE is simply meetings, incentives, conferences, and events. It means it sets a firm foundation to attract other related types of events for the country. So that infrastructure will be with us if airports are open, if hotels are invested in, that we shall take advantage of. But also there are what we call economies of scale. When you have, for example, a number of high-value facilities, it means there will be competition. So naturally, the rates will go down, because right now, if you have 1-star hotel, 2, 3, 4, 5, and everybody of us is pushing for those, we shall have no competitive advantage as consumers to push these rates down. But if investments are diversified, we have a number of carrying capacity for these very, very elite places for stay. It will mean many Ugandans would be able to access them at a cheaper cost and do a lot more with them.
Indeed. Now let's finally look at Ebola, you know, the tourism confidence and the resilience. Powata in itself proved resilience despite what's going on with Ebola. How is Ebola affecting tourism confidence currently?
Naturally, when we have health and safety emergencies, these situations cause anxiety for everybody, including our visitors, and that is pretty much understandable. But I want to say this: Uganda has been pretty much at the forefront of managing a lot of health emergencies, albeit with huge success. We have handled a number of emergencies and successfully delivered onto our mandates. So our health ministry, taking lead, is fully in charge of this. There are a lot of protocols that have gone in place. It is not by chance that we are having very, very minimal registered infections in the country. In fact, the last time the international media announced that we were having Ebola, we did not even have a resident case registered to our name.
Right.
But people were talking about Ebola. And since it has been weeks since the first person that was got from Congo was realized, with very few spreads. So it means our health protocols are pretty much in charge. We have no reason to cause panic to our travelers and people who are coming in Uganda, because we have the situation firmly in control.
Well under control.
I want to encourage our listeners and people who are afraid to come to Uganda that actually the country is safe. Business is going on as usual. Let people only come and observe the health protocols put in place, because Ebola is a hygiene disease. You don't have to shake hands, use sanitizers, wash your hands with soap, and life will continue as normally.
Right.
Yeah.
Thank you very much, Dr. Gesa. What are your parting shots as we end this conversation?
We want to say that, first of all, I want to thank our President, His Excellency, for gracing the opening ceremony of Pearl of Africa Tourism Expo. It was a huge statement of confidence that the tourism sector is on the roll. I want to encourage visitors and everybody from both Uganda and abroad to take advantage of the momentum to spread the gospel about our destination. I want to encourage people to go to the national parks, go to the adventure zones, use the weekends to travel and discover the country. They will learn that a lot of good things are happening in the countryside, and the country is very, very beautiful. So, lastly, I want to say that we have not gone to bed after this.
Right.
We want now, as a next step, to try and push the conversions, take the travel leads, the leads that have been developed from hosted buyers and people who have visited Powate, take the leads and convert them into actual bookings. We want to take this momentum to spread the gospel. So we are not pulling pedals off after Powate. We are simply going in an overdrive to publicize Destination Uganda.
Right.
Thank you for having us.
It's been a pleasure. Thank you, Dr. Gesa Simplicius. He is the head of public relations at the Uganda Tourism Board, been speaking to us about tourism in Uganda as a general, the face and structure that we have currently, but also looking at the Pearl of Africa Tourism Expo 2026 that was such a huge success. Now I'm telling you, prepare for next year, because what I saw was amazing. The conversation has to end here. Unfortunately, we would want to go on and on and on, but we have to make room for more that Good Morning Uganda still has for you. So stay tuned. Up next is Business with Robert Chirabo Nyonyinton, and I'll be back with the agenda. Good morning.
Brought to you by Uniquely Ours. Explore Uganda.
Exercise can't be sustained. Eating can't be stopped. It's even harder to lose weight. Come and give it a try. Genshikang L-carnitine chromium capsules, plant extract, scientific ratio, take 3 capsules each time. The active ingredient accelerates fat burning, eat twice a day, don't take a detour. weight loss starts now. Ginshikang L-carnitine with chromium capsules helps you stay in shape. Please follow medical advice when taking this product.
Live from UBC Studios in Kampala, this is Good Morning Uganda.
Welcome back from tourism. Now it's time we talk business, and of course yesterday was Eid al-Adha. Now Muslims around the world celebrated Eid al-Adha with the slaughtering of animals. At City Abattoir it wasn't any difference, much as the business community there said that business was slow, but clients were coming in all day long. Let's take a look at the story.
Muslims across the world are celebrating Eid al-Adha. It honors the willingness to Ismail. Despite an early morning downpour, Muslim faithful continued thronging slaughter areas across the city to observe the sacred tradition which symbolizes sacrifice, obedience, and charity. At the City Abattoir, traders say business has been slower compared to last year, although customers continued arriving throughout the day with the hope that sales would improve.
We have been able to slaughter around 500 heads of cattle. That's what we have been able to slaughter, but we are still slaughtering, though at a slow pace. We have been able to sell. Tulinza amaliza okusala tulabe bagenda kujja kugula ennyama tukoze ennyama ogwedde twasandika lukaaga naye olwaleero tulaze kitono nnyo.
Traders also attribute the slow business to ongoing tensions involving Iran, Israel and US, saying international buyers who usually boost the market are largely absent this season, leaving mainly local customers.
Actually, given that most of the countries that used to give us money during this Eid, especially Libya and Iran and Turkey, they were somehow affected by the war. So now we got very few people who are able to buy cows and distribute meat to the people.
Ebyenda biri wansi kye kyamazima ate ente za bbeeyi tegeeza nti leero ennyama bagiguze naye tukoledde mu loosi kati nsaze ente 7 ente efunye sente zifunyeyo na mitwalo 10 zokka ng'endala ziri mu mitwalo nga 5 ensaze zonna zisaze.
They also say rising transport costs linked to rising fuel prices have significantly affected animal prices. Goats are selling between 400,000 and 500,000. A sheep costs between 300,000 Uganda shillings and 400,000 Uganda shillings.
The prices are extremely high compared to the last year prices. Now we are selling meat at 16,000, 17,000, even the quality. But we expect the final consumer to buy at 20,000 and 19,000 respectively.
Neffe kusaidia yaffe y'abasuubuzi baguze naye ente za bbeeyi tewali nteevaamu ssente buli omu yenna ali mu miranga olw'ente z'ebbeeyi naye ng'ogula baguze.
Despite the rising costs, many Muslim families were seen flocking to abattoirs to buy meat in observance of the ritual, which remains an important part of the Eid al-Adha celebrations. Crispus Arinitwe reporting for UBC.
Well, now let's move to Somalia, where business in preparation for Eid al-Adha was doing very well. They attribute this to the rainfall season as well. But let's see how our brothers and sisters there enjoyed the slaughtering of animals.
To maximize profits ahead of Eid al-Adha as demand for animals continue to rise, traders like Abdullahi Gure say recent rainfall in some parts of the country has slightly improved livestock supply, raising hopes for even better market conditions in the coming weeks.
We are thankful that we received some rain following the severe drought that has improved the health of the livestock, slightly increasing their price value. It could have been better if we stepped up exports, which will boost both traders here and the nomadic communities supplying.
A goat can now sell for between $150 to $250. But just a few months ago, traders say the situation was very different as the current drought reduced livestock supply at the market. According to Ambiya Hussein, the prolonged dry conditions has severely affected both traders and the herders.
We now sell at $280 and on the lower side it's $180 and $150. But before we would sell at $110 to as low as $80.
The weakening of the Somali currency and its rejection by some businesses as mode of payment is creating additional challenges for traders and customers in the market.
We used to go to nomadic communities and buy from them using Somali currency, but now they have rejected opting for USD via mobile money payment. We are appealing to the authorities to intervene in restoring the dignity of our local Somali currency.
As business gradually improves, traders remain hopeful for better conditions, while also calling on authorities and relevant institutions to address the economic challenges affecting the livestock trade. Hamid Kahir, CGTN, Mogadishu, Somalia.
Well, thank you so much, CGTN, the source of that story. And that brings us to the end of our business stories. Now, up next is a very interesting guest. That is the Community Liaison Officer, Uganda Police, Anatoli Muletera, with Julie. You can't afford to miss this interview. Keep it with us, and I'll be back with the extra. Good morning.
Of the day on UBC.
He expected me to die like within the first 2 years.
Out of the womb, the child will get pains, especially in the wrists. And this happens commonly when children are starting to walk.
Was brought to you by
I'll call you every day, yeah yo, baby don't know.
You can now get all the Chibuzi out with MTN voice bundles. Call all networks. Kubei Dondoro. Buy a 25-minute voice bundle for only 1,000. Or buy any daily voice bundle of your choice. Dial *100 *21# and select daily, or use the My MTN app. When we talk together, we are unstoppable.
Exercise can't be sustained. Eating can't be stopped. It's even harder to lose weight. Come and give it a try. Genshikang L-carnitine chromium capsules, plant extract, scientific ratio, take 3 capsules each time. The active ingredient accelerates fat burning, eat twice a day, don't take a detour. Weight loss starts now. Genshikang L-carnitine with chromium capsules helps you stay in shape. Please follow medical advice.